How do we do, folks? It's Bull, almost on 205 numbers after the name. A little Wasteland Wednesday over here, man. A little murder game on the Dom. What is this, Dom? It's the Dom right here on the shipment, which, by the way, is no longer just being unanimously voted every single time to play. I'm sad about that, man. We made it to the point now where people ain't like that vibing with it or whatnot, man. This is actually one of my first times. I won't say first times, but this is it's closer to the first times of me playing Dom on shipment, man. As you'll notice, I'm using my femme fatale, as we call it, the Itra, which is not something I normally use on this. At least to start off here, I imagine I probably switch, but I'm not even 100% sure. I'm about to find out. I'm doing alright with it so far, man. There's really two different kind of ways to play shipment, man. And I fall more into the camp of run and gun, get in your face kind of gameplay. I'm constantly chucking stuff. I'm constantly trying to like get people's grills and shotguns, submachine gun. I actually just use the PPSH, and I have like, you know, all the ammo attachments and whatnot I can with it, and just put in that murder game with it. But there also is this way where I'm playing shipment, where I'm kind of staying further back over here. I'm kind of, oh, I had a challenge. Oh, I word. I see you. I see what you were doing over there. Had a challenge. Okay. But there's the way that you kind of stay a little bit further back and you put in work that way. And I mean, both are valid. It doesn't really matter. It's a matter of preference as to what the hell you want to do. Honestly, you can do it. You can play the game however the hell you want. But it definitely isn't exactly how I kind of vibe with this map and how I kind of see this map, which is pure madness. This map is, to me, it's by far one of the funnest maps in the game. I wouldn't necessarily call it my favorite, but it's probably I think it's in the top 3. I'd put it in the top 3. I'd probably go right now. I mean, Ardent's Far is still #1 for me. I can still play that thing whenever I like honestly want. And then I'd almost put a tie between this and V2, with maybe V2 getting a little bit like more love, because I feel like there was a little more thought necessarily put into this. After all, this was like just a map, I think, in Modern Warfare 4. Modern Warfare 4, jeez. In Modern Warfare 4. In Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, where they just like tested the weapons and whatnot. So yeah, take that for what a great assault is. Now it's fun, it's crazy, it's wild, it's out of control. Sometimes you'll see me put like 90 kill and 50 death games. Sometimes you'll see me put like, well, you won't see me put them, but sometimes I'll get like 50 deaths or 50 kills and like 90 deaths. I'll be like, what happened, yo? That's crazy. That's wild. But for the most part, we end up with a positive KD more often than not, man. You get a good roll on this map, man, and it's crazy. I've always thought my first nuke would come on this map, which is kind of wild. This man, Point to Hawk, I got in a brutal. I put it on the jail. I think I got in brutal on Point to Hawk before. And I believe I've gotten close to, if not a brutal, on this map as well. You just kind of get a string, man. You get like a good like set like spawn kind of going around, and even if you're doing something like I'm doing right here, playing like Charlie side like pretty hard, where you're kind of protected, even though if they're just smart, they would just chuck some C4 over, or even a nade, and they'd pop it. But you could kind of keep like playing around this whole little area here for like a good minute, rack up some streaks, put in some work. Y'all already know what it is. Anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about Blackout. And there ain't really much necessarily to say. There was like a leak kind of that came out with some details on it. Nothing about that leak really stood out to me 100%. I mean, it's good that there was details and there's things to be said about it, but it all seemed kind of very like PUBG-ish, like, right? Like, we got some armor, you got some pickups. They don't know how rare the weapon's going to be, or they're going to do tiers. Seems like they have like tiers in terms of like backpack and the armor and whatnot. You have some health pickups. Pretty much your standards through Battle Royale mode. Nothing really stood out over there. I believe they said that like the Ruins grapple hook's gonna be there. Like there's gonna be some of that kind of like specialist stuff that'll be around. I think that the meat and bones of Blackout's success is gonna be twofold. One is that it plays well at launch. Like that thing is ready to roll in October. We got a beta coming up here in August 3rd, PS4, and then a little bit later for the Xbox. I'm actually out of the country, so you won't see any footage from that. I'm going almost to August. Honestly, I'm leaving a bunch of videos just set up, ready to record before I leave, and that's it. So I'm going almost to August. You won't see that. But I believe it was supposed to be a Blackout beta coming out in September, and I'll be on that one because I'm very curious to see what that looks like. To me, the two key pieces of success that they need for Blackout to be good. And it's tough to even compete in that sphere when you look at it. Now, people are going to buy Call of Duty, so that's kind of what they're basing it on. That's kind of the audience that they're targeting. But Fortnite's free. Like, that's why a lot of people are playing. Like, it's free. And PUBG is $20, $30, or I think it's 30 now. it's 30, but you get on discount. I've seen it on discount like $20 and whatnot. So, you know, that's significantly less than the 60. Now, obviously, Call of Duty will sell you. They're selling the zombie, they're selling this, they're selling that. But the Battle Royale audience might not be interested in that. They don't really care about like how good of a deal you're actually giving them. They're more just like, all right, well, I just want to play the Battle Royale mode. So I don't think you're going to see this influx of like people that played Fortnite all of a sudden are going to start playing Blackout. I think Blackout's very much more for the Call of Duty fan base and those people to stay engaged with the game. For you to play the game, play the multiplayer, and then once in a while just go and hop in, or maybe even main Blackout if you want. But just have that be an extra like piece over there, being like, yo, I buy this game now. I love the zombies, I love the multiplayer, and Blackout's dope. Like they kind of want that 3-tier kind of thing over there, which they had with the single player. But the single player was a lot of people didn't play it, or you just play it once. You know, like I was the rare guy that played the single player maybe like once or twice. You know, and even towards the end, I was only playing it once. I was playing straight through on Veteran because Veteran became so much easier than it used to be. I'll play straight through on Veteran, and that's it. That'd be like one of the time. And I'd enjoy it. I'd love it. I'd love for there to be a single player campaign. Don't get me wrong. But the replayability of what Blackout mode could be is worth more than single player by miles for the franchise and for your bottom line. So. Number one is it has to be ready when it comes out. You can't like have this thing not work. You can't have this thing not like finding lobby. You can't have this thing be weak too. Like it can't be like you need at least a certain amount of people in there. You don't need the 100 maybe, but you need like 50, 60. Like 50 to me is kind of the minimum. Like what you got to hit. It all depends on the map size too. If the map's like a little bit smaller than like your PUBG maps or like that, well then 50's fine. Like it's not really too big a deal. If the map is like PUBG size or something, there's 50 people, it's gonna be a trouble because you don't want to spend like 20 minutes not seeing anybody either. So there has to be a certain balance you could tweak there. But I'm not too worried about necessarily the number of people playing. It's more of like how that plays out with the map. But it all needs to be ready day one. There can't be this. It's kind of laggy. It ain't playing that great. We're being lagged out in like the middle of the games, getting some error messages. Oh, and also, like it's not even complete. We got like a lot more like guns stuff coming in later. We got some character coming in later. Maybe some new locations stuff. Like maybe we even have like a whole section of the map cut off. Like we can't do like that nonsense. Like this thing's gotta be ready day one. Here's the mode. We're gonna keep expanding on it. We're gonna keep growing it. We maybe release like another map later on, like part of DLC. All that stuff, cool. But you can't you can't half-ass it from the start. And that's like one of the things that I think I was reading in the leak was that like they might not have all the vehicles ready. Like they might only have like a car or something like that. I mean that's not make or break. But once again, you want to get as much stuff out there ready from the get-go, from the jump, to set that impression of, hey, I was like, we're taking Battle Royale seriously. This is for real for us. This is what we got. That's what you want to like set the tone of. Secondly, to me, the major key is the map. Like the map itself. Like it's gotta like hit. Like it's gotta be good, man. I've heard of like I think the leak said that kind of Nuketown was in the middle on like an island and whatnot, and everything else around there. And obviously they mentioned that they're gonna bring in stuff from Call of Duty's past in there. That to me has so much potential. There's so much Black Ops stuff that you could put in there that you could kind of go by and be like, whoa, that's awesome. And I would love to like be walking around and be like, oh man, I'm in Crisis right now. Hold up, that's the jungle map right there. Oh, that's some other stuff. Like I would love a bunch of small or a bunch of Call of Duty maps stringed together along this cohesive like unit of a map and kind of have the sphere closing in on different sections and whatnot. Like that is so cool. Like just imagine for a second. Imagine you end up like at the end of this game playing on like the jungle with a FAMAS, like what we used to do back in the day, what I'm saying? Or how about you end up with a Galil and you end up in Nuketown, like stuff that like we done before. Like that's like tight. Like after like killing like 50 other dudes, like you end up there, and that's like your one-on-one how you finish it. So to me, there's a lot of potential there in drawing in that history. It just needs to be done well, and I have faith to do well. I have no qualms about it. I'm not really nervous that we haven't even seen it either. I am nervous as to how late this thing started in development. From what I've understood, and I'm not a game designer, so take this with a grain of salt, but from what I understood, designing Battle Royale games isn't necessarily like the hardest thing to do. Like you have to get the map right, you have to get the tuning right. But you're not really like everything's kind of random. Where like the weapons and the vehicles, I guess they're kind of like you're kind of developing set locations on a random like I just like a random randomizer for lack of a better word where things kind of pop up, and that's pretty much what like Battle Royale does. So it's not like you have to perfectly balance and be like, all right, I placed the shotgun on this first floor, so on the second floor I need to have the helmet or whatnot. It's not like fine-tuned to like that degree, so maybe you don't need the polish that you would need for a multiplayer venture, a regular multiplayer venture over here, maybe even like a single player to make sure like everything was running like perfectly smooth. But it's work. Like it's no doubt about it, and it's tough and it's difficult. It's their first time doing it, which is another thing to kind of not like forget that it is like the first time that they've entered this foray of Battle Royale. They've played it, they've seen it, they've obviously seen what they worked. You know, you talk about being innovators in the field. This one isn't one that Call of Duty is necessarily innovating in. You know, they innovated in the multiplayer genre. They innovated a little with the zombies, even though I guess I don't remember if Horde mode in Gears of War 2 came out, but I think Horde mode did come out over there. But anyway, the zombies was an original their kind of thing. Obviously, the campaigns, that's something that they kind of like took to a whole nother level. But this one is them grabbing something that's a success somewhere else and putting the Call of Duty just spin on it. So I'm curious to see what that looks like. I think it's going to be fun. I'm excited for it. I'm really excited for the beta. That's another one, too, where they got to get it right. On the beta, I actually wouldn't mind if they chop off the map in half. And they're like, yo, man, we're actually going to like normally have 50, but on the beta, we're going to give you 25, and you're going to play on this like small part of the map just so you get an idea to feel for it. And as long as that works, that to me is a good enough selling pitch to buy into what's coming in afterwards. What can't happen is like you put them out there and it looks like PUBG looks like, right? Like it can't look like an early access game. It's kind of what I'm saying. Like it can't be early access. It has to be that Call of Duty polish because that's what we want to make this Battle Royale game special and have it be Call of Duty.